Aha! Only an hour late. Sorry. We'll begin shortly. I want to ride my bicycle. Hey now, boo-boo. Hey, everybody. Sorry about being late. It was only an hour. All right, hang on. I got to move this out of the way. Got to move that out of the way. Got there. I got to bring up the chat. Let me do that over here. Oh, so much complications. So many complications. Hang on. Boop, 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 boop. All right, almost there. Almost go there. I got to click go live. Almost there. So many complications. Here we are. There we are. Ni hao ma. Good to see everybody. It's 9 a.m. OMG. Yeah, no, I didn't sleep in. No, I wake up at 4 something. 4 something. Yeah. Anyways, guten Morgen. Good to see you. Yeah. So one of the things we're going to do is a Q4 outlook. Yay! Q4 outlook, fourth quarter. Ending big, ending strong. Actually, that is correct, Meta. Apparently, I've mentioned it. Yeah. So anyways, by popular demand, it's back. I decided to do it not tomorrow. There's just not enough time to do it right. So we're going to do it one week 1 week from tomorrow. So we'll have the summary of economic projections. I have all the new updated macroeconomics. Very, very cool stuff. And we'll try to predict the next 3 months by looking at facts. And apparently there's a limit of only 200 people. I can't fit any more people in the room. I didn't know that. Remember when I launched Quant-in-a-Box, a lot of people were locked out. I didn't know. Now I know. So anyways, so that's coming up. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. Should be pretty awesome. So I hope to see you there. And please sign up. That way I know that I didn't make a giant mistake and waste a bunch of time and that I should stop doing my research. Anywho, so without further ado, let me remind Yeah, I just realized the microphone wasn't on. Why? Why was the microphone? Microsoft update. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. All right. No, we're over there. No, the camera's a little crooked though, huh? Is it this or is it that? Everything's weird, huh? Everything's weird. Anyways, guten Morgen, huh? How do I look? How do I look? Look good? Yeah. All right, good. So, today we're going to do some technical analysis. Yep. Tomorrow we have the Fed meeting. The next day we have Bank of England. We have Swiss National Bank. We have the Bank of Japan. Holy smokes. There's a ton of things going on in this world. And we also are walking into some new seasonality. So this is a great time to be a trader, great time to sharpen our saws and focus on our techniques because we don't want to miss these moves. So thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being a subscriber and a contributor to this amazing community. I think Forex.Today makes the world a better place. I honestly do. I think we do good work together. So thank you for being here and the loyalty and respect that you show me every day. I appreciate that a lot. I'd like to point you to some resources. Trader's Way being the only broker I recommend. Yeah. Why? Because I believe them to be trustworthy and ethical. I don't believe they trade against their clients. I know that because of the Swiss National Bank debacle of many years ago. And because of that, there was this exogenous shock. The market absolutely freaked out. And some very, very big brokers, the biggest in the world for retail Forex trading, they went out of business that day and they got caught holding the bag. Apparently, they were trading against their clients. Trader's Way was perfectly fine, perfectly safe. Nothing happened for them because they're not trading against their clients. So anyways, I like that a lot, honestly. So there's no ad, there's no banner, there's no promises of being the cheapest and all that kind of stuff. They're simply ethical and trustworthy. Well, that's important. If you're going to have a successful Forex trading business, you need good service providers. Trader's Way is good. We're going to use some other resources like, your training you probably got from Investor Bootcamp. You probably already got some feedback. By the way, I started a YouTube channel for TradePlans.ai, and they won't let me do live streams because I have too many YouTube channels. And then so I recorded a video because they said you can't do live streams because you have too many YouTube channels. Why? Okay, so they're like, you can only upload videos. So I made a video. So I went to upload it, and they're like, you can only make 15-minute videos. Well, why didn't you tell me that before, you bunch of losers? Stupid YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. I love you so much. Please put me in the algorithm. So anyway, so now I got this video. Now I can't upload it, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it. So please use TradePlans.ai. I guess I'll bring up some visual colors for you. TradePlans.ai. And the idea is I'll spend 15 minutes a day giving feedback. I think I did about 8 trade plans today on the video, which you may never actually see. But nonetheless, it is a habit that I want to start doing every day, reviewing some awesome trade plans. So please try TradePlans.ai. And don't forget, we got gold and silver now, baby. Yeah. We got the S&P 500 now, baby. Baby. Or bib, as they say in Louisiana. We got S&P, bib. So anyways, cool. Please use that. You're like, what does it do? It gives you a second opinion on your trade plan. So imagine every time you put a trade plan together, like I just did here, you can get a second opinion. All right, so we'll start with this on the Quant-in-a-Box YouTube channel. And why don't I just pop that in here? http www.youtube.com/@Quant-in-a-Box. I think that'll get you there. Let's see if she pops me up. Yep. On Friday or Thursday, I guess it's this one, Quant-in-a-Box Live, how to trade against the ECB. All right, good morning, it's Friday. And I posted this for you. Raise it somewhere this morning, and that's, and all right. Double click, didn't I? Thinking about how awesome this is. What a great video. Do I want to buy Aussie? And is that annual? Wait, is that the annual high? All right, so there's the Euro Aussie trade, and I end up setting it up for you, so you can go ahead and watch it if you want. But this is the trade plan, Stanley. And yeah, that might be it, huh? What do you stink? Smell like a plan? Ooh la la. Huh? Could be, right? Could be a rabbit, could be. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Kicking off the weekly, kicking off the 4H21. Loufle. Now we just need some follow through, huh? And thank you to those that are already registering for the fourth quarter. Appreciate that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm just, I have it open now so I can see it. So I'll see you there, Jim, Denise, Maida, awesome, blossom. All right, so anyways, Euro Aussie a working. And then here's the other one, Kitty Cad, Euro Kitty Cad hitting extreme target. Extreme target for a normal month. But as many of you have heard me say over and over and over again, this month I've moved the extreme to here. And by the way, I know you hate it when I say this. I said in January that in this particular month we would go to the extreme extremes, not the normal extremes, extreme extremes, as defined as S3 or R3, and R3 is way up at the top, right? That's not a 3, but anyways. So in January, we said in this particular month, we would go for this target. And so interesting, huh? Maybe we'll head down that way. Okay, beautiful, just beautiful trading here. Look at this. Ugh. So in a normal month, you would target the gray zone. With that entry, ooh la la, you target that. So Euro CAD, Euro Aussie, working tickety-boo. What about this one? Well, I don't want this one to work. I don't want this one to go down. I want this one to go up. And so if I were a cheeky little monkey, I'd be looking at this to hold. Long it, baby, long it. That's what I'm stinking. What do you guys stink? Yeah, well, that's what I want. I know that for sure. So what's the challenge today? Keep changing the time frame. And yeah, so that's where we are. So hopefully we step up. So notice the 4 hours keeping us down, the 1 hour's keeping us up. Ooh la la. Challenging. Okay, but again, I don't really even think up. I want both to be weak. So really, I guess what I'm thinking is sideways. Okay, let's take a look at commodities. Okay, Brent, Oscar, Mike, my WTI. We are now almost to our projected target of 93.5. We're at 92 and almost 93. And then it gets interesting. Oh la la. Okay. The chart says we'll probably get to 120 again. Yeah, probably. Okay. Yep. Very interesting. Very interesting. But be careful at this 93.5. It's an R3 monthly. It's a central pivot yearly. And they're within 10 cents of each other. So like, it's legitimately scary up there. So be careful. Don't pile on now. I mean, you can try now. But the thing is, dude, where were you at 75? Where were you at 65? Where were you at 75? Where were you at 85? Now you wanted near 94? You're like 93? I mean, that's the top, man. For now, anyway, short-term top. So be careful. Be careful. All right, gold. Delete. Delete. All right. So we have the up. Okay. The up. The up. I hope you're saying, how come there's no down? Uh-huh. Good. Then you hear it. Yeah, so this is what we're trying to do. Okay. So the question is, okay, so I had it coming down 50%. It did a 786 on us. But at some point, there should be another rollover because we're in reverse fib territory. This is where bears, if they want to show up, they'll probably show up. It's just an issue like, if you were a bull, you bought that. Well, don't forget the bears are going to do the same thing, right? So we're running into fib wars. So at some point, like if this ends up being the top, we'll connect that, and then we'll start drawing parallel lines and start drawing new channels, if you will. Okay? I mean, we can kind of do it now in reverse if you want to. So you could go to grab this bottom. Make sure you have permission to grab the bottom. And then, ooh. Okay? But this doesn't have to measure anything except change of trend. Okay? Double bottom and now a higher low and a slow grind to the up. My target is 2050 and I'm in just below 19. So yeah, so I'm going for 150 bucks. Okay, yeah. Gut. Okay. And once again, I set that trade up in January. We talked about going long the third week of August. This is where I went long, and that's about the 20th of August. Would you consider the 20th the third week? Okay. Now, let's go even further back. In January, further back, I mean, in the same quarterly outlook. So again, this was the Q1 outlook. Next week, we're doing the Q4. That's what this registration link is. Okay? So, in the Q1 outlook, I said that July 1st is the turning point in the market for profit taking. That's July 1st, by the way. Okay? So anyways, the turning point, July 1st, Canada Day. Canada Day. And that the new move will occur the third week of August, which is here. Is that right? How many people can concur? July 1st, not July 4th, July 1st, Canada Day, and third week of August. How many people remember that? It's important for us, for yourself psychologically, but it's also kind of important for other people that might be new to these things and they're like, wait, what? Yeah, so like 7 months in advance and 9 months in advance? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 7 months in advance and 9 months in advance. Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Looks like YouTube's going to throw an ad. So when we come back, I'll take your requests. Hang on, I'm making a poll. Okay. Bum 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 ba dum bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. All right, it should be enough. Let me see. No, I need some more votes. There's only 16 people voted. That's BS. Come on. Oh, but my pointy finger hurts. Come on, click the button. Let me know what you think. We've been dancing with Mr. Brownstone. He keeps knocking. He won't leave me alone. All right, thank you. Now we got 32 votes, and it's all about the same. So let me hit this. Now, for Euro Yeners, I'm a little bit disappointed because I would assume, if I were me, that both Euro and Yen would be weak. But you're like, but I've been trading it all summer. We had an ECB meeting last week that changed everything. So I don't know what you're thinking on that one. Maybe you're bullish on Euro. I don't know. Or maybe you're bullish on Yen. But seasonally, I wouldn't be bullish on Yen. So I don't understand the Euro-Yen trade. I threw it out there to just see what's going on, what you're thinking. So that one concerns me. All right. So the winner is Aussie Yen. So let's go Aussie Yen. Okay. This is the one I set up yesterday for you. Actually, last week. Okay, last week and Sunday I covered it again in the day trading group. Then I covered it on Monday morning and maybe even Monday afternoon. Okay, we have in the strategy, remember this is the strategic part. There's a bigger up, which you can't see to the left. Then there's the retracement. And then there's the buy zone. And over the last few days, while we're trying to build it, I'm trying to show you that what we're trying to witness is a change in direction, which would be part of this strategy. Okay? Then we get the higher high, the HH, which makes you look left and then predict right. Meanwhile, the swing long is here. Swing long. Okay? Look, I'm not even using a moving average. Okay? And we went, so on Sunday we were here. Monday we were here. Monday afternoon we were here. Now it's Tuesday and she's gone. Okay. Friday, looking for the pullback. Okay. Monday, Tuesday, gone. 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 Higher high, gone. Target is 96.5. If you're lucky, but 96.5. And here's the complete trade plan. Used to do a little bit, a little wouldn't do it, so a little got more and more. See, I can even take this area even further back. Just keep trying to get a little better. Just a little better than before. Yeah. Okay. And it's outside of the range that we identified, so it might be overbought. But of course, we're also using price action pivot points. So you should already know we're 1 standard deviation above the mean. And the mean is a positive integer. That's right, Jordine? Yeah, absolutely, man. He won't leave me alone. Hey, we're all just trying to get a little better. Just a little better than before. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, as you can see, we are 1 standard deviation above the mean, and the mean is a positive integer. Cool. Now, let's look at a lesser good. Okay. And you can see entry. And if you look over here, maybe it makes sense, huh? Bottom, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. What do you think? What does the future hold? Yeah. Oh, Jordan's like, if you like Guns N' Roses, oh, I saw him concert probably 4 times, maybe 5 times. There's a famous concert where Duff gets hit in the head with a beer bottle. An Axl Rose comes out and screams at the audience, tells them, to F off, and then throws the mic into the audience and just walks off stage. I was at that concert. It's famous now. Famous concert now. I was at the front row of Guns N' Roses Metallica Day on the Green in the Oakland Coliseum. Yeah. George has seen that on YouTube. Yeah. Probably the greatest heavy metal concert of all time. Yeah. That one I did body surfing on the audience. Yeah. Incredible. During a Slash guitar solo. All right. Yeah. So anyways, let her run. Ultimate target. What's the target on this? Well, if it's a weekly swinger, we are going to 88. But if you want to do a position, really the bottom is 86. So therefore my target will be a little bit higher. So basically we're going to 89 instead of 88. So if you're going to go to 89, why not 90? Yeah, why not? Okay. MACD above the waterline and rising. So bullish and confident. Okay. And by the way, like I was saying earlier, if you post to tradeplans.ai, I need to do another video. Basically, I have to capitulate. I have to do another video, and I need to keep them under 15 minutes. So I need to do some sort of timer. But I need to do another video because there is now a YouTube channel. I don't even know if it works yet. YouTube.com/ is it @TradePlans? I don't think it is. They said it was, but then it doesn't work. No, see, that ain't me. Trade Plans AI. No, and I don't think it'll let's @AI. Yeah, YouTube is weird sometimes. So I know there is a channel, but there's no video, so maybe they don't allow it to work. But then I'm pretty sure it gave me @trade plans, but it definitely brings it up to a different channel. So I'll have to get that for you. Unless they, could it possibly be? Like, would that work? No, didn't think so. So this isn't me. I'll have to find it. I mean, it's funny that it's not there. I could probably switch it out. Here it is. This is where it'll go. And I applied to the @ symbol, @trade plans, capital AI. Is it really, you have to be, oh, you're kidding me. YouTube.com/ it's case sensitive. Trade plans AI will work. Oh God, that's makes me sick. That means there's so anyways, I'm going to start posting video feedback every day. And then it'll be uploaded here. And I don't have any way to alert you to stuff, so you'll just have to subscribe. And so maybe every day you can get some feedback. What do you think? And I'll probably have time around 7:20 in the morning. Okay. And if you're not sure where to post your trade plan, oh, it's funny that logs me in. How funny. Tradeplans.ai. Cool. So you'll get feedback. You'll get a second opinion from Aiden. You'll get another opinion from me, and you'll get another opinion from the community. And remember, it's all anonymous. So like, here's somebody that wants to buy the CAD Swissy. There's no identification of who this is, okay? There's no way to know. So it's completely anonymous. You don't have to be shy. You don't have to be shy about it, no. So anyways, so if you do one now, if you post one at tradeplans.ai, I'll try to do a video this morning under 15 minutes, and I'll get it up there for the very, very first video on the YouTube channel. Okay, cool. So we've already done this. This one I have going up. So this might be a buyer right now, a buyer. She might be viably. Okay. What do you think? Okay. Give it a fib. Give it a fib, bib. Oh, the stock market's open. Oh, let me do some dollars. Get over here. Okay. Here's another trade plan outlined for y'all, all y'all. And how's it working? I think pretty decent, huh? I'm going to drag this across. What do you think? It's okay, isn't it? Remember, the X is the resistance that we were trying to break, and our target was up to 65, and we're at 64 and 2/3, and with the bottom holding. It's not bad. It's not bad, right? It's not bad. And so now the thing is, can we breach this resistance, which is just a higher level of resistance, not a 4H, but a D1. So we'll see if that's next. Richard wants to know what I do when the stock market opens. Usually pray. Okay. All my equity positions are hedged. So really, I don't care. I mean, they're not, I'm exposed to the downside. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I can't make money, nothing. I make money when it goes up, but I make money when it goes down. I make more money when it goes up. And I lose less money when it goes down. Okay? So I do want it to go up. I am betting on the world. I'm betting on the American economy. Okay? I'm in, man. I'm invested in this country. I was born in another land, in a foreign land, as Bruce Springsteen would call it, right? And, right? So I moved to this country and I invest into this country. But I'm also, right? I'm also hedged because I'm risk averse. Okay? Richard says valuations favor bonds. Well, that might be true, but I don't like buying assets because they're cheap. I hate cheap. Right? I don't like expensive either. I like value. I don't stay at cheap hotels. I don't eat at cheap restaurants. Actually, I eat at cheap restaurants. But I don't stay at cheap hotels. I don't like cheap vacations. I don't like cheap anything. I don't like cheap clothes, although I own many. I don't like cheap, really anything. So what I will look for is value. And right now, bonds are cheap, but there might be a reason why nobody wants to own them. Yeah, Jim says Taco Bell isn't cheap anymore. Like I said last week, it was $13 for me to just get a meal. But I've been checking out some other places. I checked out Chick-fil-A. I checked out, where was it? Wendy's. I think that's it recently. Yeah, and gee whiz, prices have doubled since COVID. It's across the board. The dollar is losing value, or so it seems. So Jordan says it's better to pay for quality, but that's the trick, though, right, Jordan? So I agree, but then there's expensive stuff, and what Richard's leaning towards is like, if you're going to look at Apple trading at 45 times earnings, a bond is cheap, but then you have to ask yourself, do you want to own these things? Well, Apple's expensive because it makes profit over and over and over and over and over again. So maybe there's a reason why it's so expensive relative to other handset, if you want to call Apple that, but phone companies, right? But on the flip side, so then why are bonds so cheap? Well, because by the time you look at future interest rate hikes, when you look at future levels of inflation, and then when you look at opportunity costs of like, well, instead of a bond, you could have a high yield account. And instead of a bond, you could put it here. Instead of a bond, you could put it there. And all of a sudden, you're like, it just doesn't, there's just not enough. They're not cheap enough. They don't reward you enough relative to your opportunity costs, but also to your expenses like inflation. So therefore, you're like, well, they're cheap, but they don't make me any money. And now Apple might be expensive, but it might actually make you money. Now, I like to split the difference there, and not like split the difference, but more like I like to take both those things into consideration and say, can I buy something that makes money, but not at 45 times earnings? If average is 28, can I get something closer to 28, but in a company that's profitable, and in particular, a company that pays me dividends? Now, I like dividends not just because it's income, but remember, dividends will make the stock price stable or more stable, or as some people would say, stabler. Because a company that doesn't pay dividends is all growth, and they're growing fast because people say, look at how unbelievably profitable this company is, so I want to buy it because I think the net asset value will increase. Now, why are they so profitable? Because they're not giving away any of their profits to their shareholders. Now, think of another company similar to Apple. Let's say similar to Apple and pays 20% of its profits back to its shareholders in the form of dividends. Well, what does it do? It makes the company less profitable. It could not be growing at that pace. It could not have a multiple as high because it takes 20% of all its profits and gives it back to its shareholders. So the stock price will be depressed, but you get 20% of the profits paid to you in cash, not fake money like, oh, look, my stock is up 30%. Well, you can't spend it. You can't go to Taco Bell with those profits. You can just brag about it. Me, I'd rather have a more stable company, lower beta, and cash flow. And that is better than bonds. You see, in comparison? So I don't want bonds. I want bond-like performance. And I don't want growth. I do want value. Okay? Yeah, Jordan makes an interesting point. And I think it'll be a chapter in my book somewhere, or at least something I want to cover. Becoming a millionaire is mathematical. So one great thing about money, I love money. And one reason I like money is it's a unit of account and a store of value. If you have lots of it, then you can exchange it for stuff. We call that medium of exchange. But in the unit of account and the store of value, well, you want your money to be valuable down the road. Okay, great. The unit of account, think of it this way. If you know how much money you have now, you start with a certain amount of money. Money is not infinite. You only have a certain number of dollars. Whether it's 1 million or 10,000, it's very specific. All right? Great. You have this amount of money, then how fast does it grow? 2%, 5%, 8%, 10%, 12% per year. And the next variable is how much more money can you put into that? So if you had 10,000, could you put $1,000 a year and grow it to 11? And then a year later, 12, 13, 14, 15? Or is it 10,000? Is it 2,000? Is it a percentage of your income? So it might be $1,000 now because you're young, but halfway through your career, it's 2,000, and near the end of your career, it's 4,000 a month. Okay? The thing is, it's just numbers. It's just mathematics. Now, a lot of people don't like math. That's why you don't really want to have a chapter called The Math of Money or something, because people are like, well, I'm conflicted. I love money, but I hate math. Well, if you're a mathy person, it takes out all the emotion. It takes out all the abstractness. I want to retire rich one day. What the hell does that mean? Okay? Now, instead, if you just plug in the variables, you get an expected outcome to the precise penny. You could figure out to the day, let alone the year, oh, when I'm 72, how much money will I have? Well, what about the 14th day of the third month of your 72 years on Earth? How much money will you have on that day? And you can do the calculations. Now, the variables might change because you can't necessarily predict precisely what the stock market's going to do, but you do have 50-year averages. Okay? You know what I mean? And so you can plug in these variables and then you can tell. So my son, by the way, one of the most beautiful days of my entire life, my son comes to me and he's like, I want to save half my paycheck and invest it in the stock market. No joke. So I picked myself off the floor. I fainted. No. But honestly, he's like, I work a lot. I save all my money. I have a lot. I can't spend. There's nothing I need. He's like, I just have all this money. And he's like, and I don't like keeping it in the bank. It doesn't do anything. He's like, I want to invest into the stock market. And we started talking about it and about some ideas that he had. And I said, okay, great. Let me show you how much money you will make. Richard says, models don't account for shocks in the economy, but the long-term averages do, Richard, because there's been shocks every decade. Okay. But anyway, so my son wants to invest. And so great. So I pulled out a calculator, we put in the variables, and I'm like, okay, you will have $750,000. When you're 50. If you save the amount of money that you're telling me, and I think he was going to do $500 a month, I think he was going to do. Either 400 or 500. I'm like, okay. So you do that now, and then you go to, a couple of years, and you go to university and stuff. I said, when you're my age, it's $750,000 you will have in cash. Yeah. It's crazy. Huh? He's going to be investing in a Roth IRA. As a teenager, you know how filthy, stinking rich. I told him, I'm like, the habit of what you're going to do here is what matters. That you're putting a lot of money aside for the future. I said, really, what's going to happen is this is going to grow, and in 10 years, you're going to need a down payment to buy an apartment. And I said, the cool thing is you'll probably get a couple of roommates, rent out a couple of rooms, but you'll be the first one out of all your friends to own real estate. And they're going to chip in and pay rent and help you pay the mortgage. I said, this habit that you're building, I said, you're going to have $25 million by the time you're ready to retire, because you're starting now and you're starting so early and you're building the habits of saving half your money. Holy smokes. I said, just based on what you're doing as a teenager, you're going to have $25 million. Holy smokes. And that's the cool thing about money. It's just a unit of account. I can tell you. And I pulled it up and we did the calculations. I said, this early money here that you're talking about now, that's going to be 750,000. Yeah. And the magnitude is crazy. It's like between his age and retirement, it's something like for every dollar in, it's $20 out. Okay. Now remember though, so I said in 10 years, or I said probably closer to 15, when you're done university and all that kind of stuff, I said you're going to get your first job and you're going to buy your first apartment. And I said, you'll probably have, you know, 100 and I think we calculated, let's say it turns into like 150 grand or something. I said, with your Roth IRA, as long as you're buying an investment, I said, you can't take it out and buy a car or go on vacation, but you can use this money, the money you put in, unlimited amount of the money you actually put in, and then 10% of any of the profit that that money made over 15 years, which is significant, it'll double and then double again. So like 25 grand will turn to 50, 50 grand turns into 100. You see? So we calculated it's closer to 150, and he'll need a down payment on an apartment, right? So 10% of any profit that money made, plus 100% of any money he actually put in, can come out of his Roth IRA and go into his apartment. Does it matter? Well, let's say another 15 years goes by, and now he's got a beautiful person in his life, and they're going to need a bigger home, maybe for children, okay? And they need to, you know, his apartment needs to be sold, and now they need a down payment on a house. Here's the thing, because it came out of a Roth IRA, if his apartment doubled in value, and let's say he made $300,000 in profit, it's tax-free. Dumbass said, what? Yeah, he sold his apartment, doubled his money, let's say. An apartment would be more than that. But, you know, let's just say he made $300,000 profit. It would be tax-free because it already came out of his Roth. It came out of his Roth, right? So now he can take $300,000 and use that as a down payment, plus the other money he's already saved. So now he might have, like, let's say easily $300,000 to put as a down payment to buy a house. So that means now he can buy $1 million house. I mean, gee whiz, the fact that he's starting at a teenage level, that he works hard and saves all his money, oh my God. Amazing, right? That makes me so happy. He'll never, ever, ever experience being in debt. Not once in his life. It's pretty amazing and exciting, right? I want to see that happen. Oh my God. Okay, let's just move around a little bit here. So we already did all this, I guess. S&P, still money coming out as we go into tomorrow's event. Remember, tomorrow's event is a risk event. It's not an opportunity event. It's a risk event. So money comes out before. So we'll see if it ends strong. I hope it does, of course. Jordan says his son just bought his first home at 23. Very proud of him. I'm very proud of him as well. That is excellent. First investment property. Okay. Well, that's nice. So congrats. I would probably, if I were me, I think there's easier ways to earn money than because I'm assuming it's like a house. He's going to flip the house and put a renter in. That's good. Obviously, it's not bad. And the nice thing is if you'll be able to then use that to buy a second or third or fourth. I know somebody that owns 7 or 8 or 9 houses. I can't even keep track anymore. And the thing is, it's not scalable. And you're like, well, Wayne, your buddy owns 7 houses. Okay, it's not scalable. Let me say it again. Can you own 70? No. Then it becomes big. No, another friend of mine, he owns 1 apartment building, and I think he said it's got 150 doors on it, 150 apartments. He owns one landscaper, 1 insurance company, 1 management company, 1 mortgage payment, 1 bank to deal with and negotiate. 1. So that's where, at some point I think you got to get out of houses and then into apartment buildings. It's bigger money, but it's so much better because you can do exchanges and you can exchange up. Like, I think the biggest thing about getting rich with real estate in the United States is if you own apartment buildings and you never sell, you exchange. What do they call them? 1031s? You do this over and over and over and over and over again, and you get bigger and bigger. So you start with 1 building with 10 apartments. And by the time you're 75, you own 10,000 apartments. Multiple buildings with multiple apartments, but now you got 10,000. And you've made no money. This is what happens when people say Trump is broke. They don't understand how money works. Trump is not broke. You should see his Rolls Royce. You should see his jumbo jet. He used to have like a 737 or something, right? Yeah. He lives in a $100 million apartment. He ain't broke. Oh, but he ain't got no money. Well, here's an opening chapter of my book that I'm writing. Wealthy people and poor people have one thing in common. They ain't got no money. Let me say that again. Wealthy people and poor people have one thing in common. They ain't got no money. Rich people have a lot of money, but they're generally stupid. Otherwise, they'd be wealthy. So we got to fix all that. So anyways, Trump doesn't make any money because rich people have money. Wealthy people own assets. And the way that real estate works is through depreciation. This is only in America, by the way, and this is why Americans become billionaires with real estate. They borrow money from a bank. So banks are 70% of the investor. Cool. So you borrow $1 billion to buy a huge project, a skyscraper. Great. Well, the bank puts up most of the money. You put in the smaller amount of money. Well, that's really cool. But then, after expenses and all that kind of stuff, there's not a lot left over. Most of the money goes to either maintenance or debt service. You have to pay the mortgage. But, and here's the big but, you depreciate the building as an expense. Whoa, what? So you might make $1 million a month on your $1 billion property, cash in the pocket. But your corporation, doesn't earn any money. It has huge debt because it has $700 million in debt. It has huge expenses that barely cover right? The rent barely covers the expenses and the cost of the $700 million loan. By the way, you never pay the loan back. You just pay interest. And then in 5 years, you got to flip it and get a new loan. And then you interest. So this loan never goes away. Your expenses never get smaller. But there's this thing called depreciation, which means you're earning this money and you're not paying any taxes. It's not income, it's depreciation. What? So you don't make any income and you don't pay any taxes. Now, because the value of your property is worth less, is what you're saying to the government. So this skyscraper is worth less money every year than the year before. Well, we know that that's not actually true, right? Is your house worth less than it was 20 years ago? And you're like, no, it's doubled or tripled in 20 years. Well, what if you got to write it off in your taxes as being worth less and less and less? So here's the thing. If you ever sell your building, so you bought it for $1 billion and depreciated the hell out of it, and then you sold it for $2 billion, the government's going to say, hey, Donald Trump, you can't do that. You told us it was worth less every year in depreciation, and you expensed that, but you sold it for twice as much. You're wrong. It actually went up in value, so you owe us all that depreciation back. Well, hell's bells. That's probably $10 million. Wait, we're talking about $1 billion property? That's like $100 million that he would have collected. Remember, not income. No taxes. So if he sells the building for $2 billion, well, he has to pay the $100 million back and then pay taxes on the $1 billion he profited on. So it's a double tax bill. So you're like, wait, you made $1 billion. You owe us $400 million for that. And then you wrote off $700 million, well, or $100 million here. So you owe us like $500 million. And you're like, what? And if he has any other investors, he'd have to pay them all off. And all of a sudden, there's no reason to ever sell in the United States. The taxes catch up to you. So they have this program in the United States, I think it's called the 1031 exchange, where you trade up for somebody, with somebody. And here's the awesome thing. You do it again and 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 again. And now you're 75 years old and you're about to die and you have $100 billion in real estate and you depreciated everything. You could probably have a $25 to $50 billion tax bill because you depreciated all this stuff over your entire life and never paid taxes. And if you sold all of this stuff, you would instantly have to pay taxes on everything going back to the early days. So you can never sell. But you know when you die, there's a transfer of ownership, right? To your heirs. And they're like, that's a taxable event because it's a transfer of ownership. So like if you left your stock portfolio to your children, that's probably a taxable event. Or bonds, or you leave your home to your children. That's probably a taxable event. But a commercial real estate portfolio, when given to the new heirs, pay no taxes, and the whole thing gets wiped clean. It's never happened. So the person that owned $100 billion worth of commercial real estate that died never made any money, but collected hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, billions and billions of dollars of depreciation in the form of cash, but not income. That's a difference. People with jobs have income. people with jobs are poor. You ever notice that? Very few billionaires have a job. How many billionaires make more than $1 a year? Very few. But they own stuff. And so America is amazing. Amazing that you could accumulate $100 billion, written off $50 billion in depreciation, or $10 billion, or whatever the real number is. Right? So again, if you write it off, you just kept the cash. You understand? You keep the cash. There's no income, there's no event, there's no distribution. It's just you get to keep that cash in the bank. So over a lifetime, you could have made $10 billion and never paid any taxes. And then you give it to your children and the tax bill goes away. It's not like they don't pay taxes, but now they have to do the same. No, as far as I understand, the tax bill just goes away. Now they can sell everything, dump the whole thing, and keep all the cash. Yeah, there's amazing programs like that in the United States using retirement accounts, and I'm going to set up a whole corporation and help you guys do all of this. There's cool tricks of the trade in America with money. Oh my God. What an amazing place to become wealthy. Now, it's an easy place to get rich too, but that's the thing. Most people aren't educated in money, so they find a way to make money, but it doesn't do what they expected it to do. They don't use the money properly. They burn through it, and then it all goes away. They don't know what to do with their cash. Well, I can fix that. So for those who are right, those that say that Trump's a liar, well, he might be a liar. I don't know anything about that. And their proof is like he doesn't make any money. All his companies are barely profitable, and he doesn't pay any taxes. Yes, that's exactly how you run a business in the United States. In particular, a real estate owner. That's the game. Don't make any money, right? So if you have no income and you have no distributions, you don't have a tax bill. Well, Maida, you might be both. Right? Like, he's probably both. Right? So anyways, he doesn't pay taxes. He doesn't have any distributions from his companies. He doesn't have any real salaries from his companies. And his companies are barely profitable. Why? Because he depreciated. It's an expense. So if one building had $10 million profit for a year, and remember, he's got multiple buildings. He's got dozens, maybe 100 buildings, right? If one building had $10 million profit and he wrote off $10 million in depreciation, then the building is broke. It broke even. His building made no money. The thing is, he has $10 million in the bank account, tax-free. It was an expense. Not a distribution, not income, not a taxable event. Oh my God. So that's right. So you should do that too. And the cool thing about America is you can do it here. Okay? Okay? So like my son, I'll use him as an example of an amazing game. It's a game, guys. It's a game. So you should love the game, learn the rules of the game, and then play it hard. my son is a teenager. He has, you know, a shitty job, but he makes money, pays taxes, doesn't pay a lot of taxes because he doesn't make a lot of money. But he earns money. And if he puts it into a Roth IRA, because he's already paid taxes, he never pays taxes on any profit he ever makes ever again for the history of his entire life. So if he saves $5,000 this year and it's worth $250,000 when he's 70, it's tax-free. He can live an entire year on $250,000 tax-free when he's 70. And he only put $5,000 down there, or whatever the number is, right? Every 7 years it doubles. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna double, what, 8 times? 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, 100. Yeah, it's going to be $250,000. So here's how I want you to think about this. And then I'll end it. But I want you to think about this. My teenage son is going to earn $250,000 this year. Why? Because he works at Chick-fil-A? No, because he put $5,000 after taxes, because remember, he pays taxes and he's a W-2 just like everybody else. He's going to put $5,000 into a Roth IRA and make $250,000 and never pay any taxes on it. And then he'll do it again next year, and then he'll do it again. I mean, oh my God. Now, along the way, of course, he's going to need to use the money to do good things. To buy a TV? No. To go on a European vacation with his Instagram model girlfriend? No. To what? If you can't buy a Porsche with it and show off so all your guy friends go, oh, dude, you got the best car ever. Or to show off your girlfriend in your European vacation or what? Like, think of all these bad things. Giant TV, like, what do you do with your money? Well, you can burn it or you can invest it. So out of the Roth, you can buy an apartment. Or you can put it into cryptocurrency. I don't know if that's what you want to do, but you can do any investment you want, like real estate, like venture capital. There's a billionaire, well, a hedge fund manager, who put money into his Roth IRA and then invested it along with his venture capital money and made billions of dollars tax-free through a pissy little Roth IRA. Billions tax-free money. Billions with no taxes paid on it. It's incredible. So, like, why don't you do that? Right, Jordan? So as your son is investing and getting good in the game, what you might find out is there's a better game. There might be easier ways than flipping houses because after a while, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of expense. It's not scalable. And at the end of the day, you might not make a lot of money. And the worst case scenario is your fifth house. Like the first house works, the second house works, the third house works, the fourth house works, the fifth one, you go bankrupt. It doesn't work. The economy changed. You know a lot about flipping houses. You don't know anything about the economy or something like that, right? There are lots of bad stories where maybe you have mortgages and all these, and all of a sudden one day you lose your credit line across the board. And all of a sudden you're like, you don't know what it is, you're just out. Now, what if you can get similar returns without all the work and without all that risk? Then you might be just like better off doing the other thing. And it might be something boring like investing into low beta, high income stocks, right? In a Roth IRA. And you're like, dude, but that's boring. I don't do anything. It'd be the most boring company in the world. Yeah, but you'd be profitable 8 to 10% a year forever and compounding, totally scalable. Yeah, the problem is you wouldn't have to do anything all day. Yeah, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, that's actually a sweet ass business. Yeah, and that's the business of money. Money is awesome because it works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's amazing. Money is so awesome. It's scalable, right? Or you make the leap like my friend, but you see, my friend has a lot of money. So like for my friend to, my friend most likely bought his 150 unit apartment building because he had a tax bill. He might have had a tax bill. He's one of these guys where like, oh, well, you have a $25 million tax bill. Really? Oh, shit. Well, I guess I'll buy an apartment building instead, right? Instead of paying taxes. So there's all kinds of games to play. Okay. Meta says, I don't know, Trump being a liar and stuff. Well, he's being sued in New York City, or is I think the attorney general, so it would have been the state of New York, is suing him, and to me it seems very political, but nonetheless they're like, hey, he's a businessman, real estate developer, portfolio owner, and when he talked to the banks to secure loans, he inflated the value of his net worth and his holdings. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what every freaking business person does. It's like going to a job interview and only talking about the good things. I mean, what do people do at job interviews? Lie. Oh, I'm the hardest worker, and my greatest weakness is I'm an overachiever, and I'm too loyal. Yeah, I mean, dude, come on. Every single person in the history of the world to sit down at the bank and go over their portfolio shows it in good light. Of course. Like, so to think like that he's being sued and dragged into court, like, you would have to sue literally every single person in New York City. I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Right? So, and like I said, I don't know if I'm a Trump supporter or not. That's not what I'm trying to come across as. I'm just talking about like, what the hell would you expect to happen in these meetings? You're trying to convince the bank to invest. Of course you position everything in the best of light. Sure you do. You tiptoe into the gray areas? Uh-huh. Yeah, you probably do. Whether you mean it or not. Okay, so anyway, so I think like I roll my eyes like, oh my God. And then I'll get off my soapbox. But then I believe it was the attorney general who then put in I forget what you call it, where you put in like, not an appeal, but like a writ or something to the judge to say that he's so obviously guilty that we don't even need a trial. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that irks me. I didn't even know that was a thing. You're like, wait, what if the judge said yes to that? Could you just say, obviously you're guilty. I don't need to see anything else. You're just going to go straight to jail. Is that really a thing? Like, I don't remember studying that. And there was a time for a year or two I thought about being a lawyer. And I minored in law, actually. And I don't remember any of that. But wow, so that'd be scary for something like that to happen, that clearly you're so guilty we don't even need a trial. I thought everyone was innocent until proven guilty. And you have to prove it in a court of law. So that, to me, that one was weird. So if you know anything about that, maybe leave it in the comments and I'll read them. And without further ado, it's been a long morning. I got to get going. What a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. And I will see you morning. Okay. I will, leave a trade plan on tradeplans.ai. Hang on. I will check this out in like a half an hour. And I will review a bunch of trades. So you'll get trade plan feedback from our AI. His name is Aiden, by the way. And you'll get feedback from me, and you'll get anonymous feedback from other traders. So your identity is completely protected. And then, by the way, if you like this, would you please consider donating? I'm trying to get 10 grand back of my expenses. Thank you, Hakeem, Jean-Guy, Jim, Adam, Louis. Oh, that's Maida. JP, Denise, thank you. I appreciate that. And if others share my vision, would you please consider contributing to the program? I have some really cool updates that I need to do, but if it's not worth it to you, it's not worth it to me. So I'm hoping it's worth it to you. And this is one way of voting, like, Wayne, keep going. So my team in Hong Kong is on full stop. Full stop. We're not going to develop any more things. If nobody cares, then cool. Then it's good enough. If you do care, show it. Look at that, 3A2. Beautiful number. So anyways, gotta go. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Have the greatest day ever. Cheers.